I'm a retired IAS officer. I have been of 61 batch, Madhya Pradesh cadre, and I retired in 1996. And I have been posted in Madhya Pradesh and Government of India, and also work for United Nations Environment Program. And wildlife and nature conservation and environment has been a passion all my life, and I've been very fortunate to have been allowed to function and to be given support during my career. And then I've continued with my hobby or passion, as it were, after retirement, which has been both very helpful to me and I hope to some extent probably helping the cause for conservation of the nation's natural resources and heritage.
सर, आपको क्या लगता है कम्युनिटी बेस्ड एक्टिविटीज किस तरीके से डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट में या एनवायरमेंटल प्रोटेक्शन में हेल्पफुल रहती है?
Community एक तो as a group, and everybody knows that a community, a unity can help so much. And I also believe that community can just not be caste or area or a religion. Community can also be for a region or for where they live and where they come from, or a language. But community has unity, and unity means that they're all for one and one for all, and that matters not only in being very effective, but also means a vote bank. And when a vote bank wants something, the politicians who survive on their votes will have to follow. So in that case, it's the community which gives the leadership and the politicians follow, rather than the politicians giving the lead. And the community or individuals have to follow. And when a community is driven not by selfish motives only, but by a tradition which is in the interest of not only that community, of a region, or of a principle of ahimsa, which is so central to our culture and belief and religion. I think it will bend the policies of the government, as it were, in the right direction. So I think, and while, as I was saying in my talk, communities have always had influence greater than individuals, of course. But when a community is an activist in its belief, in its policies and principles, then they can demand justice. They can even do a satyagraha. And let's not forget that India became independent through the satyagraha. And what the Bishnoi community is doing to save the orange by doing a satyagraha. And satyagraha which doesn't destroy property, but which makes demand, their demand, which is a community demand and a demand for environment, for the welfare of a whole region. When they make it public, the government has to sit up and take notice.
सर, ये इन्वायरमेंटल प्रोटेक्शन और डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट में समाज में युवाओं का क्या रोल हो सकता है? आप उनको कोई संदेश देना चाहते हैं, कैसे वो इनके प्रोटेक्शन के लिए काम कर सकते हैं?
They are the future, and everybody says the same thing. And I believe that the school children and then the college student and therefore the education community or the youth as such are the vanguards. They are not only they demand, and everybody has to take notice, but they are the ones who convert their own families. एक एग्जाम्पल आपको दूं मैं. We were trying when I was drafting the Wildlife Act in 72, and at that time, trade was a very big factor in decimating wildlife, especially animals like the tiger, leopard, snow leopards, clouded leopards, musk deer, कस्तूरा,
yes,
ये सब उसके लिए मारे जाते थे जानवर. And we were trying our best to, not just here, but all over the world, this trade in animal, and that was at that time deemed to be in value, illegal value, next only to the drug trade. The drug trade is the biggest. It was this trade was much more than gold smuggling or anything else. Wildlife product smuggling and whatever. Shatush for the shatush shawl from the Tibetan antelope, and there were so many others. And despite the laws, when it really came about, when the children in the streets started throwing eggs on women wearing fur, and when children started telling their mothers, "Mama, that leopard skin look better on the leopard than it does on you." That made the difference, because then the demand fell, and when the demand fell, the supply had to taper off. So that is the power of youth. अगर वो डिमांड करते हैं तो वो बाल हट हो जाती है, and बाल हट is very very important.
सर, जो आज ये इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस SCDR और जामवाणी साहित्य एकेडमी के कोलैबोरेशन में हुई है, इस तरह की कॉन्फ्रेंस कैसे यूजफुल हो सकती है एनवायरमेंटल प्रोटेक्शन की एजुकेशन के लिए?
जागरूकता and to some extent prachar. But jagrata is the most important, because awareness. A lot of people are misled. They're misled by lack of knowledge, but misled by deliberately by certain interested parties, whether it is the business houses or politicians, because for personal interests they would propagate a certain thing, and people believe that. But if ये जागरूकता जो है, and the message goes out, then at least the disinformation will be neutralized. And then with awareness comes commitment. And commitment and would lead to then effective action in the field, because then it may hopefully lead to activism.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you
Thanks a
very
lot
much.
for your time and